So, welcome to session one. This is video one in our 12-week course, class of February to May 2025. And so, you guys heard all the information before about how this is going to work. But for anyone watching this on the recording, this is going to be the first business course that we have for 12 weeks with different sessions, different lessons to help you go from novice, complete beginner to professional in business and making some money. So, if you're here in the beginning, this is a really good place to be because trust me, you'll see a massive difference in your business from beginning to end. And by the time May rolls around, you'll be unrecognizable because you'll have applied everything, you'll have learned everything. There's things that you can track. And again, like I'm saying, we're going from very beginner to advanced. And if you're watching this in the future and you happen to be someone that's joined months down the line and your upline happens to be on this call who's made a ton of money, well, this is where they started. So it's crazy. But yeah, a lot of six-figure earners on this call right now. But week one, the topic is mindset mastery and business foundations. So, we're going to be talking about the mindset that you need as an entrepreneur because you're just getting into the space for the first time. You go from a world of 9 to 5 and working for someone else to now being in a position where you have a business. Yes, you paid for your business, you have your operation costs, your business costs, but you've now made it a reality. Because don't judge your business based off what you've done, now base your business off the progress and the process from the work that you're doing that will get you the results later on. One of my biggest mistakes as an entrepreneur when I was new is I kept having this mindset that I needed to have short-term results, really fast success, instant gratification. Instant gratification is one of those things that will kill your mindset as an entrepreneur. If you're going from school, university, or college or high school to and 9 to 5, whatever age you're in, I know some of you are students, some of you are not students. You haven't been students for a while. I haven't been a student for some years now. But I remember what it was like to be a student and go through the motions of just having the matrix presented to me and completely erased from my head. So you got to remember that when you're getting into entrepreneurship for the first time, one of the most important things you can do is realize that this is not a fast track and short term success. This is a long term, this is a long term grind, and these are long term results. But if I asked you, would you rather get rich in 5 years from now or not get rich at all? Which option are you picking? Like, let's be real for a second. You're probably not picking, I never want to become wealthy or rich or successful. Like 5 years, that's great. I've been in the game 6 years. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Christian Perez. I've been in the business for 6 years. I started at 20 years old. I was a broke, busted, disgusted biomedical science student. Really upset with what I was doing because I knew that it was just the best option from what I had and not necessarily what I wanted to do moving forward. I always had this itch, and you guys can probably relate on the call right now and watching the recording. You get this itch of like you're doing something, you're going about your life, but you feel like you're not fulfilled. You feel like there's more to you. You feel like you were born for something bigger than just working at an office job or working at a warehouse or working at a nail salon or working at a school or working at an auto shop or working at a gym or working at a, customer support place or working wherever it is that you're working right now, right? Or a community center or a whatever, daycare. Like you're working this job that is paying the bills, and the thing is we attach ourselves to I'm making money, so my life is stable and consistent. I can get those results. But what if there was a way to make a lot more money that no one's really telling you about? This is the point of being an entrepreneur. There's an amazing documentary which I'll probably link to the description of the video and the recording, and it's called The Rise of an Entrepreneur. And it's done by Eric Worre, and it's a collection of videos that allows you to really understand the shift that you need to go from 9 to 5 corporate world or school world to being an entrepreneur. Because when I was new, I didn't really know that a life like this was possible. I didn't know that, sports cars and high rises and traveling the world and, like beautiful places that you go to, speaking it on stages in front of thousands of people. I didn't know that was a part of the life that I could have had, but I accomplished it. And so how did I do that? Well, you guys see books in the background. I did a lot of education. I did a lot of development. Watching trainings like this are how you see success. But it's not just only a balance of, you know, thinking about success and because manifestation works, but manifestation doesn't work if you do nothing for it. If you just walk around saying, I'm going to be a millionaire every second of the day, it's not going to happen if you're sitting on the couch watching Netflix or, worrying about what Kanye's doing or Kanye's wife or whoever it is, some crazy stuff that's going on at the Grammys. you're not going to be successful thinking you're going to be a millionaire by watching and wasting your life away. You become a millionaire and you become successful by having real application of the things that you learn on a day-to-day basis. And this is how you accomplish a lot of success. I didn't make a lot of excuses. When I was, again, trying to make this thing work, I was frustrated sometimes because I'm like, how come I'm not making money yet? How come I'm not making at least $500 a month yet? How come I'm not making $1,000 a month yet? Why is this person that started after me making so much money and I started before them and I'm not seeing the results? Why is this happening? Well, I had to look internally. Remember that your internal dialogue and how you think of yourself is extremely important when it comes to being an entrepreneur. Understand that you are taking yourself and removing yourself out of a life that everyone told you was the norm. It's crazy because, and for those of you that were on the previous trainings, I know the recording people won't hear this, but you guys remember the mastery conversation that I've been having for the last few weeks. And the reason I've been having it is because of how much this book has like impacted me in such a like intellectual way. Like I'm being intellectually stimulated in a way that I haven't been in a long time because I love reading stuff that is just hard to that I guess digest for the average person, and like stories that just you wouldn't understand or make sense of. And I see how much the most successful people in the world, like the people that go down in history, like the Einsteins, like the Darwins, like the Da Vinci's, like these people, how they had a whole story of and a reason why they shouldn't have seen success, but they did. There's a lady I don't know, I don't remember her name. I'd have to read it. I just read it like I think 2 days ago, this story, and I don't remember her name, but I'll find it if you guys care to do some research into her. But there's this woman who is autistic to the point where she literally couldn't speak. Like there's a spectrum of autism, right? And she was not high functioning, she was very low functioning. We're talking about like can barely speak English, needed a speech pathologist to help her understand, a professional like communication coach and all this to finally help her understand how to put words together. But people still made fun of her because, she wasn't like really, you couldn't really talk to her that well because she just, it was harder for her. She was extremely autistic, got distracted by a lot of things. But one thing that she was good at was visual representations and visual communication, like drawing things out and having someone understand or feel her emotion through a drawing. She also had a great connection to animals. And so she was able to detect like an animal's feelings in a way that a regular, someone who's not on the spectrum couldn't. And so she had this like deep empathetic relationship with animals to the point where she developed a system for people that were farmers and like how they like raised cattle and like had their horses in stables and all that. I'm not a farmer, so I'm not gonna pretend like I know any of these terms, but I just know she invented something that was helping farmers and even butcher shops. Like she's not against killing animals because obviously you got to have meat, but she really wanted them to be well taken care of in their life that they had. And so she developed systems and invented things that actually revolutionized the whole, that industry. And she pretty much became rich and wealthy despite having a problem, which she couldn't even speak at one point. So people counted her out. They didn't even want to let her go to school at one point in her life because they said that she's actually useless. This is what they said to her. Imagine you're born with a disability or you're born with something like that that holds you back and people call you useless. She had every reason to fail, but she won. So yeah, yeah, Temple. Yeah. So I think that's who it was. I saw that name in the book. I think that's who it is. But this is the point is I Googled her. Yeah, you got it. So do some research on her. My terms might have not been, yeah, she has a PhD. She went to school. She excelled, extremely intelligent. She honed in on some of the things that that she knew she was good at. And like I said, she couldn't even communicate at one point, but then she learned how to. And I think now she became even a professor, like a teacher or something like that. But my point in saying this is when you go against the grain and you start transitioning from a matrix, here's what life is supposed to be, to now becoming an entrepreneur, you got to remember that whatever you have, you are not no, like someone has been in a worse position than you and accomplished a massive level of success. There's no one that has your story right now who hasn't been able to win. I've met people in many countries, right, around the world with different backgrounds, and I've heard just about every single story to the point where when I hear someone's story, I don't get surprised because I've probably heard someone that lived their exact same life in a different region around the world. But if you can develop the rock solid mindset, the stone cold mindset of no matter what, I will win. No matter what is presented in front of me, I will win. No matter what my disability, I will win. No matter what I'm dealing with or what my upbringing caused, I will win. I'm a champion, and that's the whole point of having a champion mentality. The whole point of having a champion mentality says that no matter the situation or no matter the circumstance, I'm going to win because I am built different. And that's why you guys are here. That's why we're doing these trainings. That's why we have, so many people in different areas of the world consuming this information and winning, is because we have the genuine desire to succeed and the genuine belief that we can do whatever it is that we say we're going to do. The problem is society messes us up. You were born with an innate ability to win, but society ripped it out of you. I always talk about this is that our goals are so limited and we can't set achievable goals because when we F up in real life, people just say, "Oh, well, it is what it is, bro. You screwed up. You're not meant for this." You're judged in school in a system that gives you a letter grade and tells you if you're going to be successful in life based off what that letter grade or percentage is. You guys understand that the school system is so broken. Kids nowadays suffer from a lot of mental health problems. Now, let me not even get into what we eat and what we wear and all that kind of stuff. Maybe we'll have time for that for a different day. And I know Megan would talk a lot about that too. Obviously, for those of you that know Megan, and if you don't know Megan, you'll get to know her pretty quick. I'm pretty confident about that. But the whole idea with this is that the whole school system is rigged for people to fail. It is a business at the end of the day. They want your money. If people stopped believing school was the solution, guess what industry would go bankrupt? The education system. But it's not, I don't like to call it the education system. I like to call it the here's what we want you to learn so that you stay a slave system. I graduated from university. I finished with a 4.0 GPA. I did extremely well in school. I got a scholarship when I got into university. I got pretty much every award you could possibly imagine in high school for academics, elementary school for academic. Yeah, I took elementary school seriously. That's how I was, which is like why, like such a waste of time, but I did it. I did everything that you could possibly imagine a kid could do. And I didn't want to go to Ivy League because I didn't want to move away from my parents. And I applied to really good schools here in Toronto, but I was just done. Like I was so burnt out, I guess you could say that by the time I got into university, I said, let me just take it easy. But even then I did well. But I think that choice, because had it not been for that choice, I wouldn't have found this platform that we're in now. I was introduced by a friend and he said, Christian, there's a way to make money online. I said, what? He's like, yeah. I'm like, honestly, bro, kind of, I don't know. Like, he's like, yo, we should talk about it. Like, come here and we'll talk about it. We're doing like Frosh Week, which is orientation week. And he's like, bro, come through. I want you to take a look at what we have. I aired him 3 times. If you guys don't know what that means, it means I just ignored him 3 times. I said no to his face and I said, yeah, another time, another time, another time, another time. Not right now. And so he literally grabbed me and he's like, bro, we need to talk about this right now. I said, fine. And I only said fine as like a pity fine. I'm like, all right, like, just tell me what you got to do so I can move on with my day and forget what you said. But what he said changed my perspective forever. And it wasn't so much him, it was the opportunity. Because I heard that you could build wealth without having to work a job. I heard that there was something called crypto. I heard that there was something called the foreign exchange market. I heard that if we can help people make money on their phone, then not ever people can start paying tuition. And I said, what if we made this movement about students? And so we went from 0 students to 1,000 students in the span of 6 months. And that was a huge accomplishment of mine, which I love to this day. What changed that was the pandemic. The pandemic, we went online. And now, a few years later, here we are today in 2025. So the reason I share these stories is because chances are you didn't find out about this platform in a glamorous way. It might have been, you might have had a fancy presentation, you might have gone to a fancy event, you might have seen it on a webinar. I just found out literally in a classroom at my college in university, the science college that was there. That was it. I was talking to a guy one on one, and that's just how we did it. But my point is that society screws us up. The education system is not there for us to win, but it is good for networking. You can meet a lot of people that will change your life, and that's what happened to me. But the reason I talk about it is goals. We are put down at such a young age, and this is going to be a huge part of our training is goals, goal setting attainable goals and achievable goals, things that we can track. As an entrepreneur, goals have to be part of your central working system. They have to be part of you. You cannot expect to move forward in life without a destination, and the destination is the goal. You cannot, like, if you exist in today's world and you want to go from point A to point B, if you don't know where point B is, you're never going to get there. Okay? Let me say it again. If you're trying to go from point A to point B and you don't know where point B is, you're never going to get there. So you have to set a clear, specific, attainable goal. And when I mean attainable, let's understand this. When I say attainable, I don't mean realistic. I don't mean realistic. I don't want you to be realistic. I want you to be so optimistic that people think you're crazy. I want you to be a visionary. I don't want you to be average. I don't want you to be realistic because everyone in your life is realistic. Everyone in your life is realistic. I love my parents. I love my family that I grew up with. But I know a lot of them were just very realistic. I knew that I couldn't learn how to have massive levels of success from the people closest to me because they've never done it. But there are other things they could teach me. They could teach me how to be a good human. They could teach me how to have a long-term relationship. They could teach me how to be a good parent because they were. I could learn so many things from my parents. I could learn so many things from my extended family, but I couldn't learn how to build wealth because none of them had done it. And because none of them had done it, I needed to find a solution, and that was surround myself with the right people. So why set clear, specific goals? The reason you're here today may be because you set a clear, specific goal in 2025 that I want to be surrounded by entrepreneurs. Well, congrats, you did step number one. Now we move on to the next step, which is how do I do it? What level of income do I want to have? I need you to do this. If you're watching this live or you're on the recording, take a look at what your expenses are today. Take a look at what your expenses are on a monthly basis. How much money do you need to get out of your situation? How much money do you need to get out of your situation? How much money do you need to replace your job? Or if you're not working a job, how much money would you need to out earn whatever job you had in the past or what your current living expenses are? If you live in a toxic environment, how much do you need to make to get out of that house? If you live in a crappy city and you don't want to live there anymore, how much money do I need to get out of there? If I want to quit my job that I hate, how much money do I need to leave? Track that. Think about it and look at the compensation plan. Look at the compensation plan. Understand it. Know how you get paid through our system. Because I've never seen a more high paying system than what we offer. And that's why I've been here for so long. Because I believe in it. And even at sometimes nothing's perfect, even when sometimes I'm like, you know what, this ain't perfect, I still keep my mindset optimistic. And guess what happens? There's always a solution. Because no matter what, guys, the grass is never greener on the other side. Trust me, sometimes it may seem like a job is an easier option because you get a paycheck every single, couple weeks or every single week. It's like, oh, maybe a job is more suited to my lifestyle. Maybe I should just quit business and get a job because that is consistent. That will go through your head a lot. Trust me, it went through mine at one point. But why? When your goal is to travel, when your goal is to retire your family, when your goal is to give freedom to your family, when your goal is to help a sick parent or old parents or save animals or get a lot of dogs or a lot of cats and live a certain lifestyle. Why? Why would you ever say that? Trust me, that's the devil inside of you trying to pull you away from your goals. That's your average self, the failure that when you die, you look back at it and say, damn, that was an F up. That person was a failure. That's that person trying to bring you down. Yeah, exactly, Caleb. Champions aren't quitters. We're one percenters. That's true. That's why we're here. So setting achievable goals is important. And how do you do it? Like I said, look at what your expenses are now and track it. Look at how much you can actually put towards whatever it is that you need to do to get out of your job or move to a new place or do whatever you need to do, whatever your goals are. And now calculate how much you can do that through the comp plan. Once you get a number, it's like I need to hit this rank or I need to enroll this many people. Double check. Don't ask your mentor to do the job for you. Ask them, hey, this is what I got off my calculations from the compensation plan of how to achieve my goal. Do these numbers look right? Ask them for reference once you've done the math yourself. Your mentor is not your babysitter. They're not meant to do the work for you. They're there to help guide you to discover your true potential. That's what they're there for. So to set achievable goals, that's goal number one that I want you to set. Number two, it is good to have timelines. In the next 3 months, what do you want to accomplish by the end of this course? What do you want to accomplish? Okay, by 6 months from now, what do you want to accomplish? And a year from now, what do you want to accomplish? Set those goals for yourself. Even go beyond the year if you need to. 2 years from now, I want to do this. 3 years from now, I want to do that. There's no right or wrong way to do this. But set down 3 month, 6 month, and 1 year goals for sure. Do that as well. And plan out where you want to be at those points. Because it gives you a roadmap of where you should be based off what you're doing now. And so anytime that I let's say I slack off and I go to the movies and then I sleep in late and I decide, you know what? Screw my work or my business today. I'm just gonna do something else and hang out with people. When is that happening? Just like go off that. When is it happening? Okay, if I take a week off my business right now, how does that affect the 3 month goal? Well, that takes away quite a lot because it's 1/12 of the way that's completely gone and wasted because I decided not to work this week. I decided to not to be emotional, right? I wanted to be emotional, and my emotions, hey, my girl broke up with me, you know, my fish passed away, my dog passed away. These are all, by the way, these are all things that affect. I'm not gonna say they're not important. Man, my dog passed away last year, like late last year, and that messed me up. But I also said, you know what? That's the universe. It is what it is. It's sad. You can be sad. You're allowed to be sad, but there's still a goal you have to hit. So despite what happens in your life, look at the goal and say, and if it's a human, it's even worse. And it's not to get dark, but would that person want you to lose track of your goals just because that happened? No, right? They wouldn't want that to happen. So it's like you can be like, all right, well, this is my goal in 6 months. Okay, this happened, or it doesn't have to be that drastic. It could be like you lost your job. It could be, you crashed your car got stolen, your computer broke. Like it's a setback. It's a setback. Well, what can you do to fix that so that you still stay on track to your goals? Now, instead of you moping around for a couple of weeks, now you have a real tangible goal that you can alter your schedule for, and you know that that's the whole thing. Some of you, there's a really cool AI tool, by the way. There's a cool AI tool that I've used. I've recently fired all my employees and I hired AI. This is a new development in my life. All my employees have been fired. I'm sorry, but I'm no longer bringing business to these people, and I've hired AIs that do the job better. And I've been so much more productive. So much more productive. It's an app on my phone. I can click on it. I can ask them any questions. There's professional copywriters, professional social media managers, professional life coaches, professional email marketers, you can like whatever you want, employees. If you guys, I can show you guys if you want some other time. You can private message me. I'll show you what I'm talking about because I think everyone should. I know a couple of you on the team are using it and you're like blown away because it's actually insane how it works. But it can hold you accountable and setting goals, asking you realistically, hey, I have this, I want to hit, let's say, $10,000 a month in a year or in 6 months. Break it down for me and what I need to do based off what my accounts are looking like and what my current situation is. What what does that look like? And they'll come up with a whole plan for you. That's what a mentor can do for you too. But trust me, automation is key. That's how the world's changing. I know I don't want to be left behind, so I'm using AI for everything. Even I'm gonna be putting out YouTube videos. You think I'm gonna edit it? Absolutely not. You think a human's gonna edit it? Absolutely not. I'm gonna get AI to do it. This is the world we live in. As entrepreneurs, we've got to be flexible and adaptable. Platform selection and optimization. Now let's move on from setting goals to exactly what platforms you're going to be using. Gary Vee talked about it extremely well, and I think you guys should be using, and please take note of this. Use Instagram, use TikTok, use YouTube, okay? And if you're really heavy in the trading space, use Twitter, okay? These are four great platforms to start with. Threads also is like Twitter, but what you can do is you can leverage Instagram for your reels and you can leverage Instagram for your posts. So reels and TikToks, here's the best thing. Instagram, reels, YouTube shorts, and TikToks all the same type of video. They're all short form videos. You could post and repurpose the same video. Go on TikTok. TikTok automatically saves your video without a watermark when you post it so that you can post it on Instagram and on YouTube Shorts. Guess what? That's three platforms knocked out in one swift move. Next is YouTube long form if you want. I don't recommend it for beginners, but something you guys can explore down the line. that can bring you traction. Instagram posts, do some educational carousels, right? I don't know if you guys notice on my page, I'm doing like a mix of lifestyle and it's like motivation and quotes and all that. Some people will do education. I'm going to be doing education soon on that too. I'm going to have trade recaps and all that on my social medias so that people can see and they're like, oh wow, this guy trades. He's doing analysis. I love watching those videos. I love watching people take entries and seeing how it ends up. So good. And also, you guys have X and Threads, which is Twitter and Threads. Any thoughts you have about trading? Any hot, controversial topics related to entrepreneurship? Hot takes, post them. Value, talk about it. What's the market gonna look like? How'd you do? I just made $1,000 today. Post it. I know compliance is a thing, but on Twitter and Threads, maybe you don't want to do income claims, but just say like, "Hey, I made $1,000 in demo," or "I gained 10% on my live account today. I got an alert from my community and I made X amount, a percentage." People will be like, "Wow!" Or here's even better: don't even throw yourself under the bus. Grab grab what's it called, like testimonials from your chat and drop them, or create a private Telegram channel where you have income. Do not make income claims and make sure you have the right disclaimers, right? But you can drop some results in there. This person was able to do XYZ because they made money in the markets today. This person, was able to start their own film production because they, made some money in the markets. This person bought a car because they made money in the markets. This person was able to buy books that she wanted to read because she was never able to afford books before, but she can now, so she can learn more because she built her business. And you know what I mean? Like things like this. These are powerful. These are very important. Go on all these platforms. I'll say it again. TikTok for short form content. Go on lives as well if you can, if you pass 1,000 followers. Go on Instagram, Reels and posts, Threads, thoughts and Twitter thoughts. Go post them, right? YouTube Shorts, same as Instagram Reels and TikTok. Do that. Go on these platforms and just put out a lot of content. The more content you put out, the more money you're gonna make. So why wouldn't you do it? Also, talk to people that you know. Talk to your warm market. Talk to people that are in your circle that may be interested in what we do. And if none of them do, after you've already hit them all up, then just go on social media and then also go to Facebook groups, network with people, post on Facebook too. Some of you have bigger audiences on Facebook than I do because I don't use it like that. But go on Facebook and talk to people. Post what you're doing because they will ask you questions. How do I do it? How can I do that? Doesn't even matter the language. Apparently, one of the video editors I'm getting for the AI actually auto like dubs your thing. So you could hear Christians speaking in like 10 different languages. Imagine for the VIP course. That'd be crazy. That's a solution. So again, take advantage and post on as many platforms as you want. Okay? And post content related to your business. Show and tell. All right? Next up is understanding your why. This is a very basic term, and some of you guys, it might drive you crazy how much we talk about it, but it's real. Have a strong why. Have a strong reason why you even approach the business. You'll find that a lot of times when structure fails you, your why won't. When consistency fails you, your why won't. Your why is the reason that you started this thing. It's the real big reason that, that they say, have a why that makes you cry. Have a why that gets you really emotional to the point where you're like, you know what, I need to do that. Anytime I catch myself slipping, I think about my family, right? Because there's always more I can do. And I've done a lot, but I don't think it's enough. And there's always more I can do. And time is always running away from us. Time is something that we can't grab, we can't hold it next to us. Time is always running away from us. We're getting older every single day. Right now, in this moment that you're watching this, is the youngest you will ever be. So that's just kind of reality. So when you have big goals, whether it's, moving to a certain country or retiring your parents or giving a better life for your kids, not having them need to go to the school system and maybe homeschool them or give them better education, like real education, have like 10 dogs if you want, have a house just for your dogs. You know what I mean? I don't know, whatever it is that you want to do, like things that are not so superficial, like not like I want a car, I want a nice place, I want this, I want that, like a real why that really holds you accountable. So the days that you don't feel like waking up, you wake up and you say, you know what? You know what? Let me snap back into shape. Let me forget all these intrusive thoughts that tell me I'm not good enough. That say, "Oh, me? That couldn't be me." You recruit someone. Oh, wait, hold on. I recruited someone? How is this possible? Get that shit out of your head. You were meant to have a lot of success. And the only reason why you may have a limiting mindset is because someone along your life told you that you aren't. But imagine giving power. It couldn't be me. Listen to this. Couldn't be me. Imagine giving power to people in your past that put you down and you never become successful because of that. Imagine giving enough power to that one person. Let's just say it was your dad. Not hating on the dads, but let's just say it was your dad. Your dad kept raising you. Your dad beat you up as a kid. Your dad made you feel like little, felt like less than. And then your whole life, you grow up and you say, I'm scared of being consistent because if I'm consistent, I'm going to win. And believe it or not, that goes through a lot of your heads without you realizing it. Oh, like I hit this rank, but then you go and completely regress. You go back to the old version of you because that version of you is what's comfortable. You're comfortable feeling pain. You're comfortable feeling discomfort. You're comfortable thinking less of yourself. You're comfortable being broke. Imagine the power you give to your dad for that reason when this might be bad for me to say, but family is important. But if they're bringing you down, why give power to them? We're just people. And this is our first time on earth, every single one, including your parents. But in your one life that you get on this planet, you get to decide what you want to do with it. Don't let anyone else decide what you get to do with your life. So if you feel like you winning is going against what you think, you got to raise the level that you think of yourself. You got to raise the level of belief that you have in yourself. Because imagine not winning and looking at the end of your life and saying that one life that I had, I didn't win because of this person. That sounds like a life of misery to me. And I don't think you want that, right? I don't think you want that. So we move on from the why. Let's talk about time management. How can I time manage myself to be successful? Now I have a why. I know what I'm going to do. I'm shifting my mindset from 9 to 5 to entrepreneur. And now I need to think about how I'm going to manage my time. If you have a job, who has a job right now? Drop one in the chat. Who works a job, a job right now? Who works a job? You guys know what job stands for? Just over broke. That blew my mind when I heard it the first time. Because it's not an insult to anybody, by the way. It says just over broke because it's jobs pay you enough just to pay the bills, enough to pay the bills, nothing more. So I know all of you want to get out of that job and you want to have a life, a real life, a life that you can live on your own terms, a life where you can travel the world and do whatever you want and experience the things you want to experience. Well, like I said, you're shifting from that mindset to this mindset. Time blocking. You don't want to time block like a regular person. I need you to think about it this way, guys. I need you to get competitive. Imagine you had a room of every single person that wanted the same life that you want. I'd be in that room, and all of you would be in the room, and thousands, if not hundreds of thousands, if not millions of people would be in that room with you. Now imagine it was a constant race. Have any of you done cross country in school? I did, right? I hated it. I didn't like it. I didn't enjoy it. I was more of a short term, like I like sprinting. I didn't like cardio, like long cardio. In cross country, it's a race, and you have way too many kids packed in like a tuna. It's like a tuna container, and you all start off like this, and you run together. It's like a marathon. If any of you have ever done a marathon, same thing. Everyone's at the starting line. It's so many people, it's overwhelming. You're like sardines. Then you go forward, you run, and you realize after 10 minutes, now there's a huge gap between people. Some people are still near the finish line, and some people are very far ahead. Imagine any time you successfully time blocked one day and made content, it pushed you further than the competition. Because the people that want the life you want, there's two ends to the spectrum. One is what? One is, I want to be a millionaire because I saw Wolf of Wall Street, but that person sits on the couch and eats potato chips all day and they order McDonald's and Uber Eats is their best friend. They've got Uber One, they get all the discounts. They're eating so much food. They're lazy. They don't clean up after themselves. They live like a rat, but they want to be a millionaire. Then you have the other side. The people at the front of the line. The people at the front of the line are doing everything. Their health is on point. Their mindset is on point. They're training every single day. They are working towards their goal actively every single day. They're super disciplined. They're super organized. They make sure that they do what they say they're going to do, which, like I said, there's nothing more attractive than that. Everything they say they're going to do happens. They're reading the books, they're hiring the coaches, they are so far ahead now that they're making more money and they can do more things, they get access to more information, and they're just willing to win at all costs. Like a champion. They're willing to win at all costs. I said this in one of my events that I did in Florida. Win at all costs. This is what they're willing to do. That is the true heart of a champion. Now, those sound very obvious. They're extremes, right? Like left wing, left wing, right wing. It's very extreme. But now, how about the middle? The middle is the majority of the people. The middle is sometimes I work, but I work when I feel like it. I work when I feel like it. If you start working off how you feel, you will feel nothing but disappointment. If you start working off how you will feel, then you will feel nothing but disappointment. Because I feel tired today, so I'm not going to do the work. I feel lazy, so I'm not going to do the work. I feel upset, so I'm not going to do the work. Tomorrow, another day, another day, another day, another day to do the same things you should be doing today, but you're not doing because you're lazy. You don't want to be that. And then some days you're like, you know what? I'm motivated. I'm gonna do the work. Don't you worry. I'm about to hit, Diamond Executive in 2 days. Don't worry. I'm gonna make it happen. And then the next day you're like, no, I'm sorry, I'm too tired. You work when you feel like it. You're in a great mood. The girl you asked out said yes. You had a great Valentine's Day. You're motivated for a month, and then after that, you're just back where you started. Back where you started. And that's the biggest problem. You need to be consistent. Like I said, that's the middle of the pack. How many of you guys feel like you're inconsistent? Drop a seven. Honest. You get extra points today if you drop a seven in the chat. If you feel like you're extremely inconsistent. So first of all, big shout out to all of you guys. I know the recording people won't see this, but shout out to all of you guys that just called yourself out. And if you're inconsistent, here's the problem, and here's how to fix it. Inconsistency comes from a lack of discipline and a lack of structure. You need both. You need a structure to follow. If you had the people work best off structure. No matter what you want, the one thing you can't erase from your brain because you were conditioned with it is school, which is this time to this time you do this. This time to this time you do this. This time you do lunch. This time you recess. Job. Everyone's worked a job here. That you clock in at this time, you have lunch at this time, you have another break at this time, and you go clock out another time. So this is conditioned in our brain. So unfortunately, but fortunately, in your business, you got to operate it the same way as a job. Because if I was hiring you and I was paying you on payroll, every biweekly check that you got, you knew was coming. Because you guys, some of you would be more successful as my employees than my distributors. Because if I had something that I needed to pay you for, you would stay consistent with it. And that's a problem. Because why are you better at being an employee than a business owner? It's because it's hard. Being a business owner is not as easy as people think they are. So if you're a first-time entrepreneur on the call right now or watching the recording, that's the one catch to entrepreneurship. The reason why most people don't win, people will say, "Why would I be an entrepreneur? 90% of entrepreneurs fail." You're damn right, because a lot of them are thinking the way you're thinking. That's why they're failing. But if you become part of that 10%, like I said, that go from the middle to the end, the first step is admitting that you suck at being consistent. A lot of you did that already. That's great. The next step is to now structure your day where it's a non-negotiable where you have to do that. And if you miss out on posting content today, are you getting fired? No, you're not. If you forget to clock in at a job without telling anybody once and or twice, you're probably fired. But as a mentor, I can't fire you. I can't. But although the outcome is not me firing you. The outcome is actually worse by you not posting that content or not reading today. It's living a life of mediocrity. Who wants to live a life of mediocrity? Drop a seven if you want to live a mediocre life. No one? By being inconsistent, you're telling yourself that. And I need you guys to drill that in your brain. It might sound intense, but it's not really. Because I'm telling you that your bosses at work would probably treat you worse and say worse to you. I'm being very nice. I think I'm a nice person. Until you hit Diamond Executive, and then we have a more intense training, right? But this is my point. Structure yourself and come up with a plan so that you can stay consistent to your goals every day. Guys, you don't have a lot to do for your business. There isn't much you got to do. Here's it. You guys want to write this down. I want to give you a non-negotiables list to do. And if you follow this, I cannot make the schedule for you, but this is what I do every day. And I'm not going to count team calls because you guys don't have to do that yet because you don't have a team. Number one, messaging. I do an hour of messaging every single day. You don't have to do it for this length, but just do it. Make sure you do it every day. Messaging. Guys, I cold outreach people still. I still do that. Messaging. I message on social media. I message on threads. I message my old war market. I message people that used to be in the business with me. I message everyone. I follow up. Do what I got to do. Number two is I trade. For those of you that want to take trading seriously, I trade every day for 2, 3 hours. I'm a full timer, so I have more time. You don't need to do this. If you're in the course or you are just, learning trading, 30 minutes a day is all you need. 30 minutes trading. So messaging, trading. Okay, we got those two so far. Number three, reading to keep my brain fed all the time. If I hadn't stayed consistent with reading, guys, like I told you, I wouldn't have examples that are new to share. You'd just be hearing the same thing from Christian all the time. But the one thing you can expect from Christian is that every time he does a training, he'll bring something new to the table, even if it's the same training. Why? Because I'm always learning. So read, do your personal development. You can watch videos, do that, sure. I love reading though. I hated reading, but I chose to be the person that loves reading, and I know more. I know to do a lot more with that now. So three is reading. Four, and this is not importance, by the way. I'm just giving you guys a list. This isn't like first is important. Fourth is social media posting. Every single day I post on TikTok, Threads. So every day, TikTok, Threads, Instagram. Now Twitter is being thrown in, YouTube Shorts, and Facebook. All those platforms. You know how long it takes me, guys? If I content batch for one day, which is like 2 hours or 3 hours, to click a button, it takes about like 5 seconds. If you want to write a caption and you haven't yet, it takes you maybe 2 minutes. If it's taking you longer than a minute or 2 minutes, you're overthinking. Okay? Just post. Those are the only things you need to do. That's it. That's not a lot, right? Now, when you have a team, yes, team trainings, mentorship calls, creating systems, dedicating time to updating the website, planning out campaigns, a lot of extra work. But you do a lot of extra work because your income goes up, and that's okay. But is that a lot in the grand scheme of things? I'm gonna shout out Daniel for a second because I had a conversation with him recently, and I gave him this schedule. Well, actually, I didn't. The AI gave him a schedule, right? I told him about the AI thing that I use now. It actually helped me really well. Michelle's also using the AI, which is great, and I know it's helped her a lot. But I had this conversation with Daniel, and I was like, "Bro, do you realize how easy it is now to actually do your non-negotiables?" And he's like, and I'm gonna throw him under the bus a little bit. He's like, I almost feel bad knowing how easy it was the whole time. Because Daniel was struggling with consistency, not gonna lie. I call him out because I know he has enough confidence to not let it phase him because he's not that person anymore. But he was inconsistent, very inconsistent. And he's like, it's sad how easy it was. He also came up with the system where he's like, you know what? I got this list from the AI, but I'm going to start doing the harder things first. So the thing he hates doing the most is messaging, which is very similar to me. So he's trying to message first now. But the consistency level of people that have a proper structure and schedule, I'm blown away. I'm blown away to see what difference it's made in my life. Because I know, even if it's not the same hours that I dedicate, because I'm a full timer, so my schedule is very fluid, it changes all the time. I know that I'm finishing everything that I need to do for the day because it's just so easy. It doesn't take as much time as I thought. The reason why things take longer than they do is because like we're in the middle of making content, that we see like a funny TikTok, or our cousin calls us, or our mom calls us, or we have to clean up the the tank that I have here, or I need to clean the cat or whatever, brush the. Don't let those things have uninterrupted time. When you have like 2 or 3 hours of uninterrupted time a day, you will finish everything you could possibly need. And some of you don't even need 2 to 3 hours. You just need like an hour and a half, 2 hours, not three. Some of you may need three, some of you don't. But if you could do that every day, your life would change drastically. So, in saying that, I say this, work on the consistency and the time management is key. All this information will help you get started as an entrepreneur to take the right steps in the right direction to seeing success and making money. Because as an entrepreneur, the hardest thing and the catch is that you have to manage yourself. But that is it for session one of the 12-week course. I hope you guys took a lot of notes. And if you have to rewatch the video, feel free to rewatch it. We have a playlist on YouTube that we're going to be sending to you guys, whether you're here in the past, the present or the future, where you guys will access these recordings. And again, you can look back at them. But this is video one done. And yeah, guys, we'll see you on the next one. All right. Take care. And as always, peace.